What's up, guys? We're back at the Fine Arts Center at Colton's computer. Another tutorial today. Today I'm going to be showing you how to do a light ray effect, and then I'll give you a little insight into how I edit an image, just kind of the workflow there. So here's a quick preview of what we're going to be creating, and here is without that. I'm going to drag these below my original background layer. Let's make it a layer first so that we can begin editing. First thing I'm going to do is going to do a light ray effect, and so to do this effect you kind of need some light. And because if not, it's going to be a very unrealistic composite and you're not doing your job. So I'm going to go to my layer, grab my polygonal lasso tool, and let's make this kind of light ray shape here. Now, the thing you got to think about, let's hit enter to go ahead and end that. The thing you got to think about is that you're going to want to find a more highlighted region than the rest in your sky, mostly because that normally comes from the sky. And light works in an interesting way. It works in the inverse square law, which it means the intensity of the light is inversely proportional to the square of the distance it travels. And that means that the closer you are to the center and the source of the light, the more intense it's going to be. It decays as it goes outward. So we're going to create this in multiple layers so that we actually create a realistic effect. Now, because I have the marching ants up, the little selection going, whenever I create an adjustment layer, it's automatically going to load that selection as a layer mask. So I'm going to go ahead and create a curves adjustment layer. I'm going to bring it up some, and I don't want to bring it up too much because this is going to be kind of the base, and we can always adjust it because it's an adjustment layer. They can be manipulated. And so I'm going to duplicate this 3 times. What you can do is you can do this, or you can go again and just start doing another one. I'm not going to do that. Command D to deselect. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate these, and then I'm going to transform these so they're more intense as you reach the center. I'm going to draw my little transform point up here so that we're kind of using that as an anchor. And then we'll manipulate these in a minute so they're not so pyramid-y. Hold Option to get both sides going when you transform. I'm going to bring this one up, Command T. Let's try my transform point. Alright, so this one is going to be our closest to our source, so that's going to be the most intense, yeah? So I'm going to create a Gaussian blur going on here. That's going to kind of spread it out just a bit, my layer mask and my source of light. And so the innermost one, the most intense, you want less blurred than the rest because it's not going to be as decayed, hence the inverse square law. I'm going to go ahead and Command F to reapply the last filter I did, and Command F to reapply the last filter I did. I'm going to duplicate this top one because I think it needs a little more power to it. I'm going to transform it downward. And you can kind of distort these to make sure it's not looking so pyramid-like. That's what I'm going to do for the bottom one. I'm going to duplicate that, Command T. This is kind of just how I edit an image, just kind of willy-nilly having fun. And let's bring this down. Let's group these so that I don't manipulate them. I'm going to add an adjustment layer over top of this. I'm going to grab my blue channel. The opposite of blue is yellow in the curves. So I'm going to bring up my yellows because my lights right there are looking a little too white. I'm going to Command I on that layer mask because overall it looks horrible. My brush tool, paint white over this. So I'm introducing a little bit of yellow in this highlight / light beam that I've created. Yeah. Next thing, I'm going to check what I had going on here real quick. Next thing I'm going to do is kind of add like if there was a reaction to this light source. So I'm going to just grab a new layer above this, grab G, actually B for your brush tool, sampler color, G for your gradient tool. I've already got it set on radio gradients, and I've got foreground to transparent. I'm going to go from here, going to go out, going to give it a little bit of reaction in the corner there. That's also going to help focus your eyes right here in a minute once I do some color toning. I may add a little bit more to that in just a second. Yeah, but this is how I'm just kind of editing the image, just kind of seeing what I like and seeing what I don't like. I'm going to grab a curves adjustment layer. I feel like we need a little more contrast in the sky, but if I do that overall, it's going to kind of look horrible. So I am going to get it where I like it on the sky and then grab my brush tool and take some of that away down here, duplicate that layer, Command Z, and then fill it with black, the layer mask, so that it's not showing, and then you can create your own little vignette action around the edges here, and that's going to help focus your eyes a little more, because that's really the purpose, is focusing your eyes. Next thing we're going to do is introduce a little bit of magenta into the image and the sky in particular. So I'm going to go to my green channel. The opposite of green is magenta. I'm going to grab a little bit of that, close it out, Command I my layer mask, introduce them to the highlights by painting with whites. And you can add like hue saturation adjustment layer just to kind of wrap the image up as a total. I'm not going to get into it. This is just kind of insight to how I edit the image and create a light ray effect, so that's it.